Ready for the embassy? Welcome to our Innovatology episode, where innovation meets technology and where the future is demystified. I am Marie, the founder of Marie Olivier Ltd, and I am empowering my clients in bridging IT and the business.
And I'm Cedric, a digital transformation program lead at AB InBev, the biggest beverage company in the world. But together, we are Innovatology, a platform dedicated to decode the complexities of the latest tech and innovations just for you.
Yay! So our journey began that we discovered that there is a gap for providing a platform not only for the experts in innovation and technology, but also for the wider public, where actually we can decode all of the innovations and technology for you. It started in biohacking summits in Amsterdam to, for example, Las Vegas CES.
And now we're here to share that passion with you. Whether you're looking to stay ahead of the curve in your career or you're just curious about the next big thing in the digital world, this is the place to be.
Why to listen to us? Have you ever wondered and were confused about how to actually use artificial intelligence and other technologies and buzzwords that actually are running around us? Well, then the Innovatology is exactly for you, where you can learn how to utilize it and integrate it immediately in practice in your professional and personal life. 4 a.m. and it's time for SINC in London. Yeah!
I'm lost in Antwerp Central to take a direct train to Brussels and then Eurostar to London. We are in London. Now we are going to London and Partners.
London and Partners were super interesting. They are actually the company you want to reach out if you want to scale your business in London. So either if you want to move your HQ there, in London I mean, or if you want to extend your HQ to London. So let's say that you want to stay in Czech Republic, but you want to start the market and the business also in London, but you still want to have a HQ in your specific city or hometown. They will help you with everything. They will connect you with like-minded entrepreneurs, also the policymakers and the legal department, and they are the one who makes the reputation of the London in business. So definitely someone you want to reach out if you want to scale your business in London, which is on the top of fintech, cybersecurity, etc. And by the way, my university, Royal Holloway University of London, is one of the universities that actually got award for cybersecurity, and I just got this information from them. So exciting.
We are a movement.
Algebra.
A movement that empowers us to undertake the impossible and the courage to make change happen. The opportunity for transformation lies in every moment, and every moment counts towards creating a world we want to be a part of. Your money can make change happen. It has the power to define a more balanced future, and it is your means for expression, your individual vote. Here, we vote for values, community, and a stronger society. Here, we are a part of a movement, changing the face of financial freedom.
Thumbs up for Algbra.
Happy Ramadan!
All right, so this is the Flanders investment and trade. All right, so today was so far really interesting. We were in Flanders investment and trade, which is part political body of the embassy of Belgium, and it was really interesting to know more about the investment and trade of Belgium, which is slightly different than what we have in Czechia, because in Czechia we just have Czechia. We don't have, for example, the department for Moravia, etc., for the different regions. But yeah, Belgium is quite complex in this sense, and they have their different regions. But we had a lot of interesting informations about the trade and investment, and especially for the Brexit perspective. So this was really interesting. And then the second session today was, I would say that maybe at the end the second session was more interesting than the first one, in the sense that recognize your scammer, because we could see actually the scamming example in practice, because usually I was part of the scammings or phishing, etc., only in virtual space. Usually like when emails arrive into your mailbox, like phishing, that you should like click on the link and then it charges you. But this time like it was something really interesting, because it was scamming practice in reality. And there was a guy, like actually the organizers, they thought that probably he's somebody really that he knows what he's doing, etc., that he's like a businessman. But then it was scam in practice, because he just like used our ideas for the application. So he told us that we should do like groups, focus groups, and we should come up with ideas what we would like to buy for the wellness and well-being. So of course, like 30 students eager for entrepreneurship, we were divided into the groups, and we came up with really interesting ideas. And then we were like waiting what will be the result of 1 hour speech from this guy. But then he told us, do you want to invest in your idea? And then, yeah, sure, like I want that my idea will come true. And then he was like, okay, transfer me on a bank account £50 and I will make your idea true. And you are like, what? Like you didn't tell us like what you are actually doing, who you are. And you just like took all of our ideas. And then he wanted to transfer from us £50. So it was, I would say, really interesting, like recognize your spammer or recognize your scammer, because like all of us actually were like, what the hell, like is he genius or a scammer? And in the end, it was rather the second, but who knows, we didn't, most of us didn't really gave him the money, but it was interesting. And then now we go to the Belgian Chamber of Commerce. So let's see how it will go there. And then the Belgian embassy. So let's go.
But the Czech Republic next to this, like Bosnia.
Yeah.
It is. Lots of names which you may know or not know, and the Belgian bank.
Ready for the embassy. Now I'm taking both metro in London, because I didn't go to Accenture in London with the group. They were going without me because I had some meetings, so I stayed in the University of Greenwich to take the meetings, but I was able to catch water metro. So now I'm on the boat to actually continue our journey. But so far today was really interesting. Last minute they added University of Greenwich. I was thinking to maybe not go and rather work in the morning, but I'm really glad that I did it because we had a really interesting session, which I think I will also apply in my courses. And it was about like playing games, entrepreneurial games, where we got a really random budget, random targeted group, as well as the product, and we needed to come up with the best possible product with a unique value proposition. So this one was super innovative. I really like it because it was like playing children around about the entrepreneurial ideas. So this was really nice. Then we had a tour at the University of Greenwich, and I also liked really that even public can go to the classes and they can, for example, I just went to some class and I was working there from the class. And yesterday we were in the evening in the Belgian embassy in London, and this was also super interesting. There was a panel of 4 people with their entrepreneurs here in London, and they were able to tell us more about their ideas, how they started in London, and they were really variety of different fields and backgrounds. So let me tell you more with some sightseeing of the river here in London. So the 4 panel was consisted of 4 people, and they really had a different background, starting in London. Their business is in London. It really varied. The first lady was doing entrepreneurship in the HR, and she arrived in London really in the early age of 22 years old. She launched her business when she was 24 with her co-founder, but then the co-founder also back off, and she ended up alone in her field. She had super nice rhetoric, and she was really straightforward about her ideas. She was a really passionate reader. She also recommended some of her books, but also she was really exceptional in the means that she was recommending us to start a business right away in an early career, to not be ashamed of, for example, that we don't have enough years of experience. That, for example, let's say when you're 25 years old, you think that you are not expert yet to start your business. But she was saying that she was finding the right people around her. She was also really focusing on the narrow market. So the narrower market it is, the more expertise you can get. So she was really recommending this kind of approach, which I totally agree with. Then the second person was working in agriculture, and he was scanning the trees with AI, and they could say, for example, how the health of the trees is by using their software that they developed, and what was the solution for actually keeping the trees growing. The next entrepreneur, I actually don't know what his solution was, but he was really experienced in entrepreneurship. He's working only with freelancers, and he was giving us a lots of practicalities when it comes to business. So for example, that we should be consistent with what we are doing, that we should, if we cannot run, we can walk. If we cannot walk, we should at least crawl, and that it's really about the consistency, to not shit ourselves and just continue with our ideas and businesses as much and as long as possible. And the fourth person was for me the most interesting, because he was really dedicated. So he was making the building materials from the mussels birds. So mussels have like birds inside them, and it's a really interesting material that he's using to put, for example, in insulations, etc. And he came up with the patent for it. Now he will be moving from London to Glasgow, because in Glasgow there is a really big market with mussels. So for him, it's really logical step to go with, and it's also to some extent cheaper than, for example, in London. All of 4 were saying that the business in London is a really great step, because everybody wants to have a business in London. It's a business hub. However, the life expenses are really high. So let's say you will be better off from the point of business here, but from the life expenses is really tiring. So even when you are 40 years old, you are sharing house, and it's something totally normal, which for example in Belgium or Czechia is something not imaginable. Usually people in European Union, we have our own apartments, either with only one person, two persons, but here in London it's really usual that you share apartments with even 10 or 15 people for the expenses purposes. And this fourth person, he was saying that it's that he tried to save every pound to actually make his dream possible, and because it would really change the sustainable point of view of constructions. So he really is dedicated to his purpose in life, and he said that he doesn't eat breakfast and lunch to save something and to invest it in the business. Currently he's expanding his business, and when we were asking about how did he actually come up with this business, because it's something really specific, like that you just launch the material with something that is not known, is quite rare. And he said that he just watched some video on YouTube about this exact material, but nobody knows what is it, how it works, etc. So it's really something really specific, and then he started to research more. He invested in research and development, so it was really interesting to hear from him. So now I'm going back to London to another session, so let's see how this will go. What a boss move. You just take the boat metro to your next meeting.
Adaptation to cultural.
Let's go to SAP.
Alright, so I have arrived home from London. I am so exhausted, so dirty. I mean, like, the whole trip was like really amazing, but the conditions and the steps that I walked like 30,000 steps per day. We didn't sleep a lot because we were living in a hostel. We were in one room with 8 people. I didn't do this for a really long time. Also, like, the hostel was all rightish, but we were like really in the basement, and like our window was to the entrance, so everybody who was chattering in front of the front door or they were smoking there, everything went through the window. So I was really waking up throughout the whole evening. Then we were waking up really early, around 7 a.m. because we usually had to be somewhere at the 9 or 10, and then we were in London for the whole day. So it was really exhausted. I'm so glad that I am back here, back at home. But it was a really amazing experience. We could also enjoy a bit London, like with the sightseeing boat, and to see London from the different perspective. So this was amazing. Also, we were in SAP, which is like, wow, the dream of all dreams, to really see something that everybody is speaking about, even though not always with positive connotation. But I actually thought that SAP is a really just a logistics software, but it's not at all. They are doing so many new stuff. They are really going through analysis of the whole supply chain, which was really interesting to see, and they're incorporating artificial intelligence into it. So they are currently really dependent on ChatGPT. They are investing a lot into it, but they don't want to be dependent on that because it's really expensive. So they were also showing us the calculations, how much ChatGPT is costing them and their customers. So they're also investing in their own Gen AI, so that they don't need to use the third-party software for that, or third-party model, because then one of their values is also to be reliable, or like be according to legislations. And I have to say that most of the corporations, what I know from my experience, doesn't really want to use ChatGPT for the GDPR perspective. So yeah, this is also one of the limitations, I have to say, with the ChatGPT. Usually people are going with Copilot and stuff. But now with partnership between OpenAI and Microsoft, it might change slightly, but still there are lots of challenges, especially from Elon Musk, who is actually saying like, okay, but OpenAI should be open source, and why it's now closed only for the people with members. And also now with going B2B model, it's slightly, a bit weird. But back to the business, back to the SAP. SAP was immense experience. We were in their customer experience center, so we could see how they are using also virtual reality. So you could use the goggles, and then like you could see, for example, how to do something in the operations. It's used for the training purposes, but it can also be used for example, repairing some of the machines. So in case that you are not aware of how some machines work, you could just like put your goggles on and you would be able to repair something by just somebody navigating you what you should do from another country or another place, which is like super cool. We were also then in the immersive room, so they were showing us what the SAP is doing, how they are getting under the skin of their customers, what their customers need. And the immersive room was really amazing, I have to say, because we could really get the touch of the customers of SAP, and people can do researches there. People can really see what the different personas are about, and what are the different software solutions from the SAP. So it was definitely really interesting. I also have to say that I maybe touched a bit sensitive point during the question and answers, because when we just came to SAP, I could just see men around us. Either it was trainees or more senior profiles, and the only women I saw was a receptionist, and one girl was like running around in high heels, but she was not speaking to us. So I just had a kind of feeling that usually like tech industry is dominated by men, but in this case I wanted to also ask what SAP is doing for the gender parity and how do they cope with it. And they told us that yes, now it's around 28-29% of women working for SAP, so they are doing much better than, for example, in 2017, because then when I was actually searching for the answer while waiting for the answer, because they were not really aware of the exact statistics on the spot, so they were looking for the reports, which I also really liked, that they just like search for it from the researches, that they didn't just made it in their mind. But it was really a scandal, I think, in 2017, because the proportion of women was around 1%. So then this was a big scandal of SAP, but now they are doing much better. But they didn't really reach their target, because I think their target was to reach 30% by 2022. So currently they are slightly below 30%, but they really work on it. On the presentation slide, there were a lot of women using, for example, different technologies. So it was really appealing for me. I really liked it. They also told us and assured us that they don't do biases, that, for example, women should be in the creative industries and men more engineering, that this is already taboo, and that they try to really put women in the different sectors. This was really great. After the SAP, we moved back to the Flanders Investment and Trade Center, where also Belgian embassy is, and we were having a speech from the 6 Degrees capital. This one was super interesting because I have to be honest, even though I'm already entrepreneur for some time, throughout this trip for the first time I heard the abbreviation VCs for the first time, or venture capital. I was not really aware of the definition or what is it, etc. It was maybe also because I never really searched for investors and I don't want to go really this path of funding. So I never really get into the abbreviations and stuff. And we had a really nice presentation from the 6 Degrees Capital, which was really insightful about how venture capitals are working in this aspect and what is the whole thing about. So I learned a lot. I didn't know that, for example, all of the countries or continents or political, let's say, the whole EU has its own standard terms and conditions, which you can find online. And in case that the venture capitals are actually contacting you, then you can see online what is the standard, so you can immediately see if they do some not good practices or if they follow the best practices, etc. Usually when it comes to the venture capitals, it's a really standard form of terms and conditions, so it's really available online for US market, for EU market, for UK market, which you can find online. So this was really interesting. Also, usually VCs are reaching out to the startups, not really startups to VCs. So they then usually want to have some proportion of the stake of your company. There are also conditions like, for example, that none of the founders should get out from the company within the 4 years time. But it's really good when you really need injection of the big amount of money, big investments. So let's say I already have my company, which is having a revenue of 500,000 euros per month, per year, for example, and then I want to put it on another level. I want to develop my own SaaS. So then I reach out to the VCs, or I pitch on the different stages. I go to different conferences where VCs can actually get in touch with me, and then I can get this financial injection of millions of dollars or euros to actually get this injection and to invest it in the next level of this company, for example. So this was really interesting. Also, for example, there were like different practices on how to start as a business in UK, etc. So really interesting. Thank you for joining us on this Innovatology episode. Your feedback not only inspires us, but also empowers our Innovatology community.
So remember to follow us on our Innovatology channels, because we've got plenty more insights, stories, and guests lined up for you in the future.
So hit that button follow, and you will not miss any of the future episodes.
This is Cedric
And Marie,
your guides on the journey of innovation
and technology. Yay!